You wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason. Your chest feels heavy. Your spirit feels disturbed. And somehow, one person keeps appearing in your mind. Not because you miss them, not because you love them, but because deep inside, your soul already knows something your eyes refuse to accept. God is trying to save you from this man. Before we go deeper, subscribe right now. Like this video and comment, God open my eyes, if you believe spiritual warnings are real. Because later in this video, I'm going to reveal the kind of man that destroys destinies while pretending to love people. And the scary part is, many women are already connected to him without realizing it. This is not just about relationships. This is spiritual survival. Some people enter your life carrying peace. Others enter carrying confusion. And the dangerous ones, they arrive carrying charm. This man knows exactly what to say. He studies your wounds. He learns your loneliness. He notices your insecurities. And then he becomes everything you prayed for, temporarily. At first, he feels like a miracle. He texts constantly. He gives attention. He acts protective. He says things no one else ever said to you. And slowly, your guard drops. But while you are opening your heart, your spirit is quietly suffocating. Because some people are not sent to love you. They are sent to distract you from who God called you to become. Have you noticed how your peace disappeared after meeting him? How has your focus changed? How did your prayer life become weaker? How your intuition started screaming, but you kept ignoring it. That is not random. God will never bless a connection that destroys your soul. The frightening thing about toxic people is that they rarely look dangerous in the beginning. A snake does not announce poison before biting. This man may look confident. He may sound intelligent. He may even speak about God. But words mean nothing when actions drain your spirit. Some men carry darkness hidden behind beautiful smiles. And today, many people are suffering because they ignored spiritual red flags. You felt uneasy around him, but you called it anxiety. You saw manipulation, but you called it love. You saw disrespect, but you called it nobody is perfect. You kept giving chances while God kept sending warnings. Sometimes God speaks through discomfort. Sometimes he speaks through delays. Sometimes he speaks through confusion that refuses to leave your spirit. But many people ignore warnings because they are emotionally attached. Attachment can blind intelligent people. The heart can become addicted to pain when it mistakes attention for love. That is why some people stay connected to those who are destroying them. Not because they are weak, but because emotional manipulation is powerful. This man knows how to disappear just long enough to make you chase him. He knows how to apologize without changing. He knows how to say, "I love you," while slowly breaking your confidence. And every time you try to leave, he suddenly becomes sweet again. That cycle is not love. It is controlled. Real love brings clarity. Manipulation brings confusion. Listen carefully. One of the most dangerous men you will ever meet is the man who enjoys your dependence. He wants you to be emotionally addicted. He wants you to doubt yourself. He wants you needing his validation. Because insecure controllers fear strong people. The moment you begin healing, growing, praying, and thinking clearly, he feels threatened. That is why he subtly attacks your confidence. He jokes about your dreams. He makes you feel dramatic for expressing pain. He disappears emotionally when you need support. And then somehow you end up apologizing. That is psychological warfare. Some people do not hit with fists. They were confused. And emotional confusion can damage the soul for years. There are people watching this video right now who no longer recognize themselves because of one toxic connection. You used to be joyful. Now you overthink everything. You used to trust yourself. Now you question your worth daily. You used to feel spiritually connected. Now you feel emotionally exhausted all the time. That is not a coincidence. Energy matters. Environment matters. And the people closest to you can either strengthen your spirit or destroy it slowly. The Bible says in Proverbs, "Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Why would God tell you to guard your heart if every person deserved access to it? Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Some people only study your heart to learn where to attack you. And the saddest part, many good people stay too long because they believe love means enduring endless pain. No, love should not constantly make you feel unsafe emotionally. Love should not leave you mentally drained every night. Love should not make you beg for basic respect. Somebody needs to hear this clearly today. You are not difficult to love. You are simply connected to the wrong person. There are relationships where your spirit feels heavy before your mind understands why. That heaviness is a warning. Your body often detects danger before your emotions admit it. That is why you feel exhausted after talking to certain people. Why do you feel anxious when their name appears on your phone? Why does peace enter the room when they leave? Your spirit recognizes what your heart keeps negotiating with. And here is where things become terrifying. Some toxic people know exactly how to imitate love. They mirror your interests. They act supportive in public. They create emotional highs so intense that you ignore the emotional lows. This creates trauma bonds. The brain becomes addicted to unpredictability. One moment they make you feel special. The next moment they make you feel worthless. And your nervous system becomes trapped in emotional survival mode. That is why leaving feels so hard. Not because the relationship is healthy, but because emotional chaos rewires attachment. Some viewers are crying right now because this feels personal. You kept asking God for signs. Meanwhile, the signs were everywhere. The disrespect, the lies, the manipulation, the constant emotional instability, the feeling that something was deeply wrong. God was already answering you. But sometimes we keep asking for confirmation because we fear the truth. And the truth is painful, especially when you invested time, emotions, loyalty, and dreams into someone who never intended to protect your heart. But hear this carefully. God removing someone from your life is not punishment. Sometimes it is protection. You cry because you lost them, not realizing God saved you from years of suffering. Some relationships look good in photographs, but are spiritually dangerous in reality. You cannot build peace with someone addicted to chaos. You cannot heal beside the person who keeps wounding you. And you cannot grow spiritually while constantly connected to manipulation. There are people who become angry the moment they lose control over you. That anger reveals their true intentions. Healthy love respects freedom. Control fears freedom. The moment you stop tolerating disrespect, manipulative people panic. Because boundaries expose hidden motives. A toxic person loves unlimited access without accountability. That is why they hate when you become emotionally strong. They preferred the version of you that stayed silent. The version that tolerated everything. The version that ignored intuition to keep the relationship alive. But God did not create you to live emotionally imprisoned. You were not born to constantly shrink yourself for someone else's comfort. Some of you watching this video have been spiritually exhausted for months. You cannot sleep peacefully. You overthink constantly. You feel emotionally drained. And deep inside, you know exactly who triggered it. The dangerous thing about manipulative people is that they often play the victim. They hurt you, then blame you for reacting. They lie, then accuse you of trust issues. They disrespect you, then call you too sensitive. Over time, this damages self-worth. Because when someone repeatedly invalidates your emotions, you begin questioning your reality. This is why discernment matters. Discernment is not paranoia. It is spiritual awareness. Not every smiling face carries good intentions. Some people enter your life because they see light in you. But instead of appreciating it, they want to control it. And one of the clearest signs God is warning you about someone is this: your peace disappears around them. Peace is not weakness. Peace is spiritual alignment. When something constantly disturbs your spirit, do not ignore it. There is a difference between temporary conflict and persistent emotional destruction. Every relationship has challenges, but not every relationship destroys your identity. Some of you no longer feel like yourselves because you stayed connected to someone who slowly consumed your confidence. And maybe today is the day God finally opens your eyes. Maybe this video is not random. Maybe this message found you because your spirit needed confirmation. You already felt the warning. You already saw the signs. You already sensed the danger. But emotions kept making excuses. He will change. He had a hard childhood. Nobody understands him like I do. I can heal him. Listen carefully. You are not called to destroy yourself trying to save someone who refuses to change. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. And many good-hearted people suffer because they confuse sacrifice with love. Real love should not require losing yourself completely. God did not create you to become emotionally broken trying to keep somebody comfortable. And here is something powerful most people never realize. The enemy does not always destroy people through obvious evil. Sometimes destruction arrives through the wrong relationship. One toxic person can delay your destiny for years. Because emotional exhaustion affects everything. Your confidence weakens. Your focus disappears. Your spiritual life suffers. Your creativity dies. Your motivation fades. And slowly, you become a smaller version of yourself. That is why protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Some people are assignments. Others are distractions. Wisdom is knowing the difference. There are men who only love access. Access to your body. Access to your attention. Access to your emotional support. Access to your loyalty. But they never truly protect your heart. And eventually, you realize you were carrying the entire relationship alone. Healthy relationships do not constantly leave one person emotionally starving. Love should not feel like begging. The moment you must constantly convince someone to value you, something is wrong. And some people stay because they fear loneliness more than suffering. But loneliness heals faster than toxic attachment. Temporary solitude is better than permanent emotional damage. There are people who lost themselves trying to keep somebody who was never truly theirs. Do not let desperation silence discernment. One of the biggest spiritual traps is believing you cannot do better. Toxic people often damage your confidence so deeply that you begin settling for emotional pain. But hear this clearly. You are allowed to walk away from what destroys your peace. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to stop explaining your boundaries to people committed to misunderstanding them. And yes, sometimes God separates people because he sees what you cannot see yet. There are conversations happening behind your back you know nothing about. There are intentions hidden beneath fake affection. There are secrets God protected you from discovering too late. Some endings are divine rescue missions. Years later, many people look back and realize the breakup they cried over actually saved their life. Because not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is protection. The painful truth is that some people never loved you deeply. They loved how available you were. They loved your loyalty, your patience, your forgiveness, your emotional labor. But true love requires responsibility. And immature people often want the benefits of love without the discipline of commitment. Pay attention to patterns. Patterns reveal character more than promises. Anybody can say beautiful words. Consistency reveals truth. If somebody repeatedly hurts you while promising change, believe the pattern, not the speech. Actions are spiritual evidence. Some people apologize only to keep access to you. That is why discernment matters more than emotion. Because emotions can be manipulated. Truth cannot. And one of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not everybody who says, "I love you," actually knows how to love properly. Some people love selfishly. Some love conditionally. Some love only when it benefits them. And damaged people often damage others without even recognizing it. But understanding somebody's pain does not mean accepting mistreatment forever. You can have compassion and still walk away. You can forgive and still protect yourself. You can pray for someone without allowing them unlimited access to your peace. Many viewers needed to hear that sentence today. Because somewhere along the way, you were taught that boundaries are cruel. No, boundaries are wisdom. Even Jesus walked away from certain people and situations. Not every battle deserves your energy. And not every person deserves continued access to your heart. Some individuals only appreciate your value after losing access to you. Because familiarity can make toxic people careless. They assume you will always stay. Always forgive. Always return. Until one day you finally choose yourself. And suddenly they panic. Not because they changed, but because they lost control. There is a difference. A truly loving person does not consistently gamble with your emotional well-being. And if someone repeatedly destroys your peace while claiming to love you, pay attention to that contradiction. The soul recognizes inconsistency before the mind fully accepts it. That is why intuition feels loud around dangerous people. God designed human beings with spiritual sensitivity. But modern society teaches people to ignore inner warnings. You call intuition overthinking. You call discernment being dramatic. You call emotional exhaustion stress. Meanwhile, your spirit has been trying to protect you for months. Some of you are holding onto relationships that already expired spiritually. And because you refuse to let go, your life feels stuck. There are seasons where God cannot elevate you while you remain attached to what keeps draining you. Growth requires separation sometimes. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. And yes, separation hurts. Especially when you genuinely loved someone. But love alone is not enough to sustain healthy relationships. Without honesty, respect, accountability, emotional maturity, and peace, love becomes suffering. Many people are addicted to potential. They stay because of who somebody could become. But healthy relationships are built on reality, not fantasy. Do not date potential while ignoring patterns. If somebody consistently shows emotional irresponsibility, believe what you see. Hope is beautiful, but denial is dangerous. And some of you watching already know the name this video is talking about. The moment this message started, one person entered your mind immediately. That was not random. Sometimes your spirit recognizes truth instantly. You have cried secretly over this situation. You have prayed about it repeatedly. You have asked for signs. And maybe this video became your answer. Because God often sends warnings before destruction arrives. The problem is that emotionally attached people rarely listen quickly. Pain has taught many people to normalize unhealthy behavior. So when real peace appears, it feels unfamiliar. But chaos is not passion. Confusion is not love. Emotional instability is not romance. Healthy love does not constantly traumatize you. And somebody needed permission today to finally release what has been hurting them spiritually. This is your reminder. You cannot heal in the same environment that keeps breaking you. You cannot become your best self while emotionally chained to manipulation. And you cannot expect peace while tolerating constant disrespect. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away quietly. No revenge, no dramatic speech, no hatred, just distance, healing, prayer, growth, and trust that God sees everything you endured in silence. Because people may misunderstand your boundaries. But God understands your exhaustion. He sees the tears nobody saw, the anxiety nobody understood, the emotional battles you fought privately. And maybe today He is telling you, enough tolerating disrespect disguised as love. Enough ignoring red flags. Enough abandoning yourself to keep someone else comfortable. You deserve peace. Not temporary excitement followed by emotional collapse. Peace. And sometimes peace begins the moment you stop chasing the wrong people. There is somebody watching this right now who feels scared to let go. You fear being alone. You fear starting over. You fear regretting the decision. But staying where your soul is constantly suffering also has consequences. Do not sacrifice your mental and spiritual health just to avoid temporary loneliness. Loneliness passes, but emotional damage can follow you for years if left unhealed. God is not trying to punish you by removing certain people. He is trying to protect your future. One wrong relationship can affect your confidence, purpose, finances, spiritual growth, and emotional stability. That is why discernment in relationships is serious. Who you connect with matters. Energy transfers. Habits transfer. Mindsets transfer. And the wrong person can slowly pull you away from the version of yourself you were meant to become. But today can become a turning point. Today can become the day you finally stop ignoring your spirit. The day you stop romanticizing emotional pain. The day you choose healing over attachment. The day you finally believe you deserve healthy love. Because you do. Never forget this. A person who truly loves you will not repeatedly destroy your peace and call it normal. Protect your heart. Protect your mind. Protect your spirit. And if God keeps showing you the same warning repeatedly, stop ignoring it. Comment "I choose peace" if this message reaches your soul. Subscribe for more spiritual and psychological truths that help protect your mind, heart, and destiny. And remember, sometimes the greatest blessing God gives you is removing the person you begged Him to keep.